This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. My first guest today is my friend Jackie Krofchak from the Alpena Chamber of Commerce. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Nancy.
So I know you had a fantastic year in 2017.
We did have another record year in a lot of ways, and we're happily rounding down the year and planning for next year.
And when you sent me like all your statistics and what you've done and all the things, I mean, that was just barely scratching the surface. I was amazed. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, Chamber of Commerce, what do they do? Well, it's your Chamber of Commerce is what don't you do?
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's actually right on track with what we've been talking about lately concerning our economic development efforts, is that people really just don't understand what it takes to do economic development, and so we've been having a conversation about how we can actually tell our story better in 2018 because we need more support.
And you know, talking with the Economic Development Corporation recently and the Downtown Development Corporation and Visitors and Convention Bureau, those numbers, those statistics of the amount of people that come in, and you know, tourists spend more money than, you know, other people do. It's amazing the numbers of people, and with the chamber and that umbrella of everyone working together to get people to our town, tourism is a huge industry in our community.
Yeah, it's just another piece of what makes our community successful. So if we have a strong manufacturing, which we still do have fairly strong manufacturing, we have strong tourism, we have strong services sector. We're working with the drone stuff, on the strong having research and development component as well. So you have all of that in your community, and you can't help but be successful and continue to grow.
We have great retail, we have affordable housing, we have great schools, we have excellent law enforcement. I mean, we're so blessed to live in this community.
We really are. And what we do at the Chamber is try and give people or businesses resources to do even better and make their businesses more successful. So looking forward to 2018, we've got all kinds of things in the works, a lot of resources and tools for our members, and we should just continue to see things move forward.
Okay, give me an idea of some of your goals for next year.
Oh man, so our strategic plan is interesting this year because it's extremely short, but the reason is because we had so much happen in 2017 that we're just going to build on.
Perfect.
So it kind of says educational attainment, workforce development, continue and grow. But a couple of things we're adding, we are looking at starting up a new leadership program for the community. We do have a strong focus on leadership. We're also looking at, like I mentioned with our economic development, is how do we better market what they're doing and what it takes to do successful economic development. We're also looking at, we discontinued our Flog Fest.
Right.
So we have a couple ideas on how we could replace that. And then we're also looking at bringing in speakers. You think of somebody that's a big name speaker, and they might come with a $20,000 to $40,000 price tag, which we don't have that.
And so, we wouldn't spend it if we did?
Probably not. We have better things to spend it on. But we do have some contacts of people who are great speakers, maybe have connections to the community or have some vacation property here, and we are able to bring them in to tell their stories for a much more affordable rate. And so we'll be looking at doing that. And we have our first speaker on January 17th. His name is Roger Wood.
Okay.
And he's the retired CEO of the Dana Corporation.
Okay. I saw that on the e-blast, and I thought, oh, that sounds good and interesting.
Yeah, so he did a presentation for a college class, and one of our board members heard it and said, this is the kind of person that we want to bring here. He has property around in Northeast Michigan, and he loves to tell his story, but his story also comes with a lot of lessons. How did he get from high school graduation to being CEO of a huge corporation, and what were those things that he learned that our businesses, students, employees, managers can learn from as well.
And you've done a wonderful program with the schools in the area too this year.
Yes, we are very thrilled with how that turned out. Our educational attainment, workforce development initiatives, we saw every single high school student. We helped them with career readiness and some career exploration. Starting in January, we'll be meeting with every senior to do some career readiness training with them. And then every junior will also get some career readiness training as well, with the hope that in 2 more years, we'll actually expand to have a program for each grade level regarding career training and career readiness.
Okay, and I know the annual chamber dinner is almost sold out, or is it sold out?
Not sold out yet, but
Okay.
it's getting there. That is February 8th.
Okay,
So, maximum 600 people. We will sell out, and we'll give away our usual awards. Just have a great, positive evening.
okay, and we're looking for candidates for Citizen of the Year.
Yes, which is part of the annual dinner celebration. So Citizen of the Year is one of the awards. That one can be not self-nominated. The other ones can be.
Okay,
But Citizen of the Year recognizes an individual, or in some special cases, a couple we've done in the past. We also have Business of the Year nominations available, Up and Coming, Culture Change Agent. We're doing our Customer Service Award of the Year, and then we also do our Educator Connecting Education and Business Award of the Year as well. So we've got a whole slew of awards that we'll be presenting that day.
and the chamber dinner is kind of long, but it is wonderful, and it's filled with great things, and it's networking, meeting with other businesses in your community and people. I mean, it's such an eclectic mix of people.
It really is, and one thing that the demographics of that are slowly, the age average is actually decreasing, so we're seeing kind of a younger crowd come out to enjoy that event and celebrate Alpena. And it's great to see them mix with, business owners that have been in town
Yes.
for many years, and to see those interactions happen. And then as far as the program goes, people wanted more networking time, so we added a half hour to the beginning so they could have more networking time, but then we decreased the length of the program
Perfect.
by incorporating some video presentations that are pre-recorded, so we have more control over how much time is being used up. So
Oh, how smart.
yeah, we did that last year, or in 2017, and people really enjoyed it. They were funny videos.
Okay, so how do we get our tickets?
Stop by the chamber, call the chamber, and we'll get you on the reservation list. And no tickets at the door, so must pre-register.
Okay, and it's a wonderful evening. Well, Jackie, on behalf of everyone here at WBKB, thank you and your staff and your volunteers, everyone coming together and the wonderful work that you do and promoting Alpena and keeping us on the map.
Well, and thank you for allowing me to come and share this with everybody.
No problem. Thank you, Jackie. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'll be right back following these messages. Hi, welcome back. My last two guests are both from the Salvation Army. I have Captain Amy and Major Kevin. Hi, and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Good morning.
Well, first thing we got to talk about, and I know that the news already covered it, but I want to talk about the wonderful donation you got,
Yes.
Amy.
It was such an amazing thing. We count the kettles every morning, and it gets to be pretty routine because it's you just sitting there and you're straightening bills, and we have fun with it, but it just changes the entire room when the last 2 years now. And both times, my husband's been the first one to find it.
Yay, Kevin!
But he's counting his kettle, and sure enough, out comes that little bundle. And this year we're like, oh, because we knew. Last year it was like, oh, cool, look, and then but this year it became, okay, was it in my kettle? Is it in my kettle? Who got the next one? It's just fun because it's exciting, and it's so touching to know that somebody cared that much to bless us with $2,500 is what it ended up
Amazing.
being.
And Kevin, that's because people know the Salvation Army does the most good. They really do. People know you're out there, you're visible. You're more visible this time of year, but I think people have confidence knowing if they give money to Salvation Army, it goes where it's supposed to and it's used in our community.
Well, and that's one of the things the Salvation Army has really strived for, is that money that is raised locally stays local. It's used to operate the Salvation Army year-round, and we try to use our money where it's given. And it's an amazing gift that we're given every year through Christmas. Every penny counts, and
It does.
it's amazing. One of my jobs as we count is I deal with all the change, and it's every day it's $200 and $300 worth of change.
Amazing. You think those
so
pennies don't add up? They do.
They do.
And Amy, too, a lot of work that you do is done by volunteers.
Yes.
And people sometimes think, well, this time of year I really can't afford to help. I have high heat bills, power bills, I have food costs,
Christmas
my
gifts.
children. But if they ring the Salvation Army bell for 1 hour, they've helped you tremendously.
Absolutely. We do, and a lot of people don't realize, but we do have paid bell ringers.
Yes.
Because it's our biggest fundraiser, and we have to have those kettles manned. Certain ones we won't pay to man just because it doesn't equal out,
Right.
But if we can have volunteers there, that's even more money that can go directly towards our programming. If you ring the bell for an hour, generally you can expect to raise enough to provide a meal for a family, or maybe a pantry order, depending on what location you're in, to help them through the month. So it makes a huge difference, and we rely very heavily on volunteers, and that's part of how we are allowed to. We're capable of being able to have so much money go to direct services, is because we run a pretty short staff. In our offices for social services, there's only the 4 of us. There's 2 of us, and then we have 2 employees, and then we have a part-time janitor to help us help us keep everything everything going and help us get things set up or changed out for different events. And and there's times that we all look at each other and go, I don't know how we're doing this, and the fact is we're not. Because we have so many people who donate their time, their money, their time, their stuff, whatever it is, their talents. We have people who come and we'll do classes, or we'll have people who come and we had one person do budgeting for clients for a while, and we'll have people who just come and answer the phones for us, or
Perfect.
I mean, there's just so many things that we can utilize volunteers for if you're looking to do something. And right now, our big push is always bell ringing, but the thrift store, we have people who will go and just sort clothing or hang clothes or whatever. So there's all kinds of ways that we utilize people who are willing to give of their time, because time is almost more valuable than money sometimes.
Yes, definitely. Now, Kevin, you have a couple of big events coming up.
We have a couple big ones. The big one that we like to promote right now is our kettle match weekend.
Okay.
The last weekend of the year, we've done it the 4 years we've been here. Any money that's raised on Friday or Saturday will be matched by a group of, we have 5 donors this year.
Wow.
And we're hoping to have $10,000 to match. So we're
finalizing the last of it.
Yeah, we hope a couple more. We don't give names out because we give them the anonymity of that, but they want to help us out, and we always do it as the last weekend. And this year, Saturday is our last day out ringing, so we thought it'd be a great one to do that with.
So if you're planning to donate and you haven't yet, bring your check, bring your cash that day, and that date would be
the 22nd and 23rd.
Okay.
And it'll be anything in the kettles, or if you drop something off at the office.
Okay, perfect.
The second item is Thursday, is our big distribution day.
Okay.
It's probably one of our more hectic days, but it's more fun for the volunteers because they get to walk people through. They get to help them pick their toys and their clothings and the coats, and they get the big box of food. And it's lots and lots of people going through our building, and it's a lot of fun, which is great. We just end up running back and forth.
I bet.
We need more bags. We need more of this.
So you definitely need volunteers.
Yes. We have some amazing church groups that help us out every year, but there's always room for more. One of our favorite places to put people is just helping people go through the whole system, and just walking with them. They get to know that person, they get to know their kids a little bit, and it's just a fun time to do that one.
The more volunteers we have for that day, the more smooth it runs.
Okay.
Because if I can have people, yes, we have people who walk everybody through, but if I can have somebody maybe manning the hat, scarf, and mitten table, and that's, they can just stay there and replenish or learn where things are to help people come in with different age and boy, girl, gender, what they like. Somebody that stays in the clothing section, somebody that stays to help replenish other areas, or the books. And, depending on how many volunteers, we may not have all of those stations manned. We always, like I said, we have a somebody that helps walk through and help them get through it all. But like I said, the more volunteers, the easier it runs. Like my job, I always keep myself, I don't assign myself anywhere because I am problem control, I guess. I'm the one that can kind of run around and take care of anything extra or whatever, things that are strange or if something unusual happens or all those types of things. So I try to keep myself available, and he's food.
Okay. So what's the best way for someone to get in touch with either of you to be able to volunteer?
They can just call the office, 358-2769
Okay.
or 358-ARMY.
Army.
And then Suzanne most likely will answer the phone because she's amazing at getting it before anybody else gets a chance. But
She is
she can-
amazing.
she's amazing at many things.
She
but
is. She really is a wonderful woman.
but yeah, and she can get you on the list and give people all the details that they would need.
Well, on behalf of everyone here, I want to thank you both very much for being so visible in the community, doing all the wonderful things that you do to help the needy families in our community. And you know, there by the grace of God go I. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So thank you for being there year-round, more visible this time of year. And I hope that you will super exceed your goal, and I hope that everyone will come out on the 22nd and the 23rd, put their money so it can be matched, hopefully up to $10,000. That would make a wonderful Christmas and pay some great power bills for some wonderful people in our community.
Yes.
All right, thank you both
Thank you
very
so
much for
much.
being here. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Margaret Ricker, ACC instructor. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you.
Now, I saw a really neat thing this week, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about it with the viewers, and that was something called a mock trial, and which you organize, and it was a wonderful thing. So why don't you describe what it is?
Well, thank you. It's a fictitious trial that my business law students do at the end of each semester, and we have a first semester in the fall is Business Law 1, and we have a Business Law 2 in the spring semester, and covering different topics. And so we typically do one at the end of each semester. In the fall, it's usually a negligence case. In the spring, it's often a product liability case. We vary that somewhat. But it's an opportunity for students to be given some facts or to go research a real case and pull their arguments together, formulate questions they have to ask witnesses, and put on a mock trial in front of a panel of 3 judges. And it gives them various different roles they have to play. We always need a couple of attorneys. They have to play the witnesses and formulate the information for the witnesses, and then usually we need some researchers in the background to help them sort out a lot of this information. So they need to know the laws and pull the laws together, as well as do the presentation, do their opening arguments, question their witnesses, do their closing statements. And so it's really a multi-layered, multifaceted project for them that pulls in a lot of skills that they need that help them learn business law, but also hopefully will be transferable skills for whatever direction they're headed, whatever career they're going to go into, that it will help develop those skills for them as well.
Wonderful. That's a great explanation, very thorough. And as I sat and observed, it occurred to me that there was a lot of learning going on there.
There is.
And as an instructor, somebody whose job it is to teach, I'm curious to hear your views about what you feel the learning value is and where kids really benefit or students benefit from this.
Well, it's hard to give a nice, succinct answer to that because it depends on where the students are. And students often are at different levels. And one of the things that is just a joy for me to watch is students who come in and may be very shy and not confident, and the first time we do this, they may be a researcher and they're too nervous or worried about being a witness or an attorney. And so I tell them, if you're sort of shy and you want to be in the background, then we need other roles, and you can be the researcher or team captain or such. And often those students will then, if they take the second class in the next semester, will then step up and be a witness, or someone who is a witness will then step up and be an attorney. And so you see them pushing their comfort zone and challenging their comfort zone in building those skills and gaining some confidence. And so just the personality development that happens there is often, I think, beneficial and for me, a joy to watch them do that. Additionally, it requires a lot of reading, analytical skills, assessment skills. What do we keep in? What do we throw out? Because we are limited on time, we can't do a 3-day trial. We have 2 hours to work with. They only have 3 minutes to question a witness. So they have to really pare down what information do we need to get out, how do we ask the question to get that information, and then pull that together to make their arguments and make their case and be persuasive in it.
Very applicable real-world skills that any student would value.
Yes,
would
I think so. There are some public speaking skills,
Yes.
there's research and analysis skills, there's a lot of critical thinking skills that go into it for them. And my hope is that whatever occupation they go into, that those will be beneficial.
Yeah, and you're right about that. So what was the issue this year?
This
The
year,
fictitious issue.
yes. In the past, I've always picked a real-world case that may have gone to trial or got settled before trial, and they had to go research. This was the first year that I created a case and didn't use a real-world case. And the case we created dealt with a drone issue and accident because drones are becoming so prevalent and so many more people are having them. I thought it would be very beneficial for students to learn some of the rules and regulations of drones and the limitations of some of these things and what can potentially go wrong. And so I created sort of a little bit off-the-wall hypothetical where a kayak jet ski rental business hired a commercial drone operator to take some video footage of him on a jet ski that he could use as a business promotion. And things went badly and went wrong, and the drone ended up hitting the gentleman on the jet ski who lost control of the jet ski and crashed into a dock and injured a family that was on the dock getting ready to go off for an evening boating event.
Wow. You know, not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so you had a lot of pieces that have kind of distinct legal parameters around them.
Yeah,
Very
they
interesting.
ended up having to research a little bit of some of the water laws, how close can you be to docks, some of the jet ski regulations, which many of them knew, but there were some additions to that. And then the drone regulations, and it had some details for how high up the drone went, what the visibility limits were, what the weather forecast was for the day, alcohol limits for
Yes.
drone operators, and a variety of things there.
Very good. The synthesis of all of that and the research required, and then the students having to get up and organize themselves and be comfortable speaking in front of their peers and judges.
Yeah.
I thought it's just a phenomenal learning lab.
Yeah, and they are nervous, and
Sure.
I mean, at that age, I would have been petrified to do that. But they are nervous, and they do it. And every semester, every year, I've been very nervous on their behalf, and how's this going to go? And they always rise beyond my expectations and do just a tremendous job with it.
Wonderful. Well, we have about 15 seconds left. You want to do a shout out for your judges?
I vary the judges. I have usually pick a local attorney and our VP of academics and a faculty member. And so I'm very, very grateful to the judges when they can take time out of their busy schedules, and often pro bono volunteer to help our students have this experience and be able to enhance their learning experiences.
Wonderful. Margaret, thank you very much for the effort you make on behalf of students and their learning. We appreciate it. Thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town, and we'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.